Good morning and welcome to our live. There we go. Okay, I have sorted my computer. Thank you so much for joining me. Lovely to have your company. I'm hoping that you can hear me okay. If someone could give me some thumbs up, that would be wonderful. I hope you're all well. And I should say good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Thank you very much. That's brilliant. Yeah, wherever in the world you're joining us from, that's wonderful. Hi, Wendy. Okay, so I'm going to share a technique using, thanks Philippa, a technique using Jamie's Enchanted Sprinkles again with some stencils. And I've got a couple of different things to show you, and I've had such great fun doing it. I just love the effect that it gives you. So let me just flip the camera and I'll show you what I've turned it into. And yeah, let's get started. Bear with me. Okay, let's hook my wire up. Let's bring this down. Hopefully that doesn't look too bad. Let my computer catch up with me. Okay, let's sort my lights out a bit, but I think that doesn't look too bad. Okay, so this was what I turned my background into, and I used Philippa's, I can't remember what it's called. How bad is that? Hang on, and I've tucked it in, and now the bits, the Stylish Stripes stencil and mask. So I've used this one way and then I've used it the other way, and I put Jamie's powders on so that I had them in lines, and I was really quite surprised how lovely it turned out and how easy it was to do it as well. Oh, that sounds nice, Sue. I'm not a great lover of ginger, but ginger cake and custard, that sounds nice. Anyway, sorry. Why does it always go back to food? Anyway, this is absolutely beautiful with all the shimmer. I know, they're just, I just love these. Anyway, so once I'd done this one and I've made a background for my tree and for my sentiment as well, I wanted the tree to stand out a little bit on the back of my background, so I did add a little bit of vellum, but I wanted the vellum to stand out as well, which is why I did the little bit of gold around the edge. But it's just a bit of gold pen that I put along the edge of the vellum. Anyway, so once I did this, then I started playing, and I found a stencil that I cut using one of Paola's dies. I love this heart, and so I put the heart over the paper and I just splatted this time with the Enchanted Sprinkles, and I used red, purple and yellow. And I honestly, I've got another one that I've done which I can't show you at the moment. I'm not trying to dangle carrots, but it's for something else that's coming up that'll be launching later on. So I can't show you it, but it was just such a beautiful background. But I really love how this looks as well. Yeah, so I think you could have a lot of fun. I was thinking as well, like Philippa's circle stencil with the circles all over would make a lovely background. And then I thought, oh, I could cut a hexagon out of my dinky dies and use that as a stencil. So I've done that as well. But again, that's another card I can't show you at the minute. But you'll see it soon. I'm not trying to tease you, honestly. And I wanted to just say, if you didn't catch I think this was last week's live. I mean, I can't get over how beautiful these backgrounds are with Jamie's Enchanted Sprinkles. So if you have, this is on YouTube as well, and I will put today's video up on YouTube. But yeah, so if you haven't got any yet, maybe just treat yourself to a couple. I mean, I've only used red and green on today's one, but maybe just treat yourself to a couple of colours and just have a little play. Anyway, right, so let's talk about what I'm going to use. I'm going to use Christmas green and Christmas red. I've got a gold marker pen just to do the edge of the vellum. I have got my rectangle die. I'm sorry, I can't remember who it is who wants it now. I think it might be Vanessa. Yeah, I am sorry, but I'm using that again. And I have created a bit of green and a bit of red for my tree and my sentiment. I'm going to use A6 pieces of super smooth. I've got a piece of vellum. I do have some bits here that I've already done in case I need them for the being dry. Once I'd done my stencil, I did wonder what it would just look like in stripes as well. So I just did stripes of the powder and heated it up, spritzed it, made it wet. I was going to do the other way, and then I thought I actually quite like, this would make like a nice background as well. So I didn't do the stripes on this. It was Paola's. It's an old set of hers. She did a lovely, I don't know, let me see if I can find it. Right, so this was before Paola went to Lisa Horton. So it's Paola's hearts from when she was with, oh golly, can't remember the name of the magazine. When she was Practical Publishing, and when she did her Bright Rosa range. So it's one of her hearts from there, and I love this because it's just beautiful. Yeah, so that was the heart. Okay, so what else am I using? So I've got an A6 card as well, so that's what I'm going to put it onto. And I'm going to use, I've put a few glosses on there as well, so I've got some glosses. I've got my rectangle die to cut it out if I want to. Got my marker pen for my vellum. And I've got some water, and I've got my little splatter brush, and I found it works fine. The only reason I'm using my splatter brush is because the other brush I was using, I've put it down somewhere, and I think I think it's in water. I just thought, yeah, that's very naughty of me. Right, I need to sort that out afterwards. It's in a dirty pot of water. So I need to get that clean. Okay, so I am going to use my Make Art board just because it's magnetic and it's going to hold everything in place for me. The stamp sets that I'm going to use are my Christmas, this isn't Christmas Postage and More. Okay, this is my Christmas sentiment banners. And, oh yeah, look, I've stuck them on the wrong pages. That's good. And this is my Christmas Postage and More. So I'm going to use the tree out of here. Okay, so first up, I need one of my A6 pieces of card. And I'm going to take my stencil and I'm going to lay this down. And I literally just used the edge to put it along the edge of my piece of card. So I want to hold that down in place. I'm going to use my magnets, and then you can see here beautifully. Okay, I'll put my card there anyway, but I'm going to move that away in a minute. Oh, I don't know, probably need to. I'm just going to put a little bit of powder out on my mat. So a little bit of red and a little bit of green. And start with the red, and I'm just going to pick some up in my brush, and I'm literally just going to swipe it over the edge of that piece of card. Now, you probably can't see anything. I can see that there is something on there now. So you will be able to see it when you're doing it, but you might not be able to catch it in the camera. Have I got that? I suppose that's not too bad, is it? Okay, so I'm going to misalign and I'm going to come in back and I'm brushing away from the edge of my stencil just so that I don't go underneath, or I'm trying not to. And then pick up some more and I'm just going to come in along the edge of the piece of card. Now I've got a little bit left, so there's no point leaving it on there. So I'm just going to come back in and just make sure I've got everything covered on my card. Give my brush a little, all I'm doing is this, but I don't want to do it over my card because I get rid of the red. Come back in and pick up my green. And now I'm going to do brush over. Whoops, I did tuck it underneath then. The bristles went underneath, never mind. So we'll just make sure we've got some on all that card. And I am going to move my card out of the way now because I don't want it to get spritzed. And I'm going to bring my water in and I'm just going to do a few fine mists. Don't worry if everything doesn't melt straight away, or like the powders don't start reacting straight away. Don't put too much water on. Then I'm going to come in and start to dry it with my heat tool. And I try not to get too close to the actual stencil. I just want to dry some of that water off. Oh, sorry, I keep hitting the camera. Oh. Oh, I hope you are all right. Okay. Do a bit of kitchen roll, good. And anywhere I've got a big blob of water, which I don't want, I'm just going to mop that up. Okay, so I'm leaving my stencil in place and I'm going to add a little bit more water and just get the colour to blend a little bit more. Don't have a lot of green here, but we're going to do the other line as well, so don't worry too much. You'll never get two the same either. So I'm going to dry the bones of it off. Let's get that started. And see, I've got some seepage underneath my stencil now, because I do get a bit heavy with the water. So if you can do a few spritz and stop, dry it off and then come back to it, you'll get a better result. But I don't think it really matters because we are going to turn it round and do the stripes the other way anyway. So I have got the bulk of the water mopped up. So now I'm going to bring in a cloth. First I'm going to wipe my magnets, although they are getting spritzed quite nicely now with different colours. And just wipe that one, and then I'm going to try and carefully lift that off. I have got a bit there, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. I can place that down on there because I can wipe that up in a minute. Let's wipe my background, get rid of all that water. Right, and then we can come back in and we can mop where that bit has gone over. But I'm not going to worry because I am going to put my stripes the other way. And it is homemade. It isn't, I don't want it to be perfect. I'm loving by using the brush, I just think it gives you so much control over what you're ending up with. But I love all the different colours that we've got in here. It's just absolutely beautiful. And look how soft and pastel this row is. It's beautiful. Okay, so we need to wipe our stencil, get all this off. And I might need to bring my spray bottle in and just make sure that it's nice and clean. Let's do one. Let's wipe the background. I don't know what I've got on this cloth, but it isn't very absorbent. And then I can wipe the back of my stencil and wipe the front again. I do need to make sure that I haven't got any powder on this, because when the water touches it, it's just going to make more colour, obviously. So do spend a little bit of time making sure that your stencil is nice and clean before we go and do the second bit. Okay, so now we can lay our stencil down the other way, and this time I placed it down. Yeah, I've got white edges, so I placed it down. Oops. So I need to get into the stripes, but it can come and sit, my magnets can sit a bit more nearer the speak Julie, nearer the card. Okay, so could that be up there? Obviously where you've heated it, it's warped a little bit, so you could always put it underneath your die cutting machine and flatten it out. I think using a brush, so do I, Philippa. I think using a brush is an absolute game changer. So I want some green again and some red. And it really does give you so much more control over what you're doing. So now I've picked up the green and I'm going to come in the fat stripes this time with the green. Let's just move that back a little bit so I can get in. And I might need to miss a stripe. I might need to have a bit more green powder down. You can always leave your bottles by the powder so you know which one is which. But they are different colours, so it is quite easy to tell them apart. Now I'm just going straight over the top of my red with my green, over my red stripes with the green powder. So it's going to make, it does make a sort of browny colour when you do that. So you're going to get different shades show, which I think is just lovely. Right, I think I'm just going to put a little tiny bit more green, because I do want to make sure that I get some nice green showing. Let's just come back in and just use up any little bits that I've got left. Then make sure you flick your brush to clean it out, and then pick up your red, and we're just going to go in on the little stripes. Let's make sure we've got some colour in all of them. Okay, so now we want the little spray bottle, and again, not too much water to start. You're much better to do several spritzes and dries, because every time you get a pile of water, that's when it is going to seep underneath. So if you can do little bits, then the colours will mix together and make the red and green. And I have found that it hasn't affected the stencil. So it hasn't harmed it by having the heat tool nearby. And now we can come back in and we can spritz a bit more water to make that a bit greener. It's almost like little and often is better. I've got big puddles now. So we'll just take our time to make sure that this starts to dry before we move the stencil away. Especially those big puddles. They're really nice because you can get some really nice edges to them. Just love it. And it's so different every time. I think that's what I love about it. And I do think that the more water you end up using, you end up seeing more of the mica coming through. So let's wipe my ruler. Let's get a bit of cloth and not wipe it with the label. Okay, let's bring that down and wipe that properly now. Wipe my magnets. Now you have to remember as well that I've got water, and I want to show you how much this little bit of powder here, look what happens when you add some water. That's how much is left on there. You just use so little for whatever you want to do. So now we'll lift this up carefully. That's not too bad. I haven't got anywhere to put anything now. Right, I'll put that on my radiator a minute. I want to lift this up and wipe away my excess water. Okay, now I can heat the rest of this, because this is the most important thing. So dry those big bubbles out. It is just so lovely. Yeah, so we've got a very definite plaid background. Isn't it? It's fabulous, isn't it? Absolutely fabulous. Now, I'm going to show you something different that we can do as well with what's left here. I think I can do that with that actually. So let's just bring another piece of card in. What do I do with it? I know I had two. Okay, let's just pick another one up. Okay, so we'll pop that down. And I'm going to bring my stencil back in, dirty as it is, and just going to place it up against the edge. I'm not going to worry too much if I get any splats on it. I should have cleaned it, but it doesn't really, doesn't really matter. So just putting my stencil down to hold that all in place. And then I'm going to get my brush. Now I'm going to make it wet now, so I won't be able to do any dry brushing. I don't need any more, do I? No, because for the tree, so for these pieces, I literally, instead of mixing red and green, I literally just did them as they came. So this is just a green background, lots of layers, lots of little splats, which we're going to do now. But yeah, to get these little watermarks, you need to do lots of little splats. But I got the bigger background done first of all, and that's what I stamped my tree on. So I like to make my brush wet because I don't want to add too much more water to this. Plus, it's still dirty. It's a bit dirty, so let's clean it first. I've definitely got some green left in here. Right, that's better. So let's make it wet now. And then I'll pick up the green. So I'm staying away from the red, just making it green. And now if I splat this down, this is how I did the heart. So I laid my heart down, and I haven't done it with the stripes. I just thought it'd be interesting to see if we get definite stripes, which we should. But so I'm going to do lots of little splats. Keep loading your brush back up so you've got some of that water. it's great because everything gets splattered. So do be careful. It would probably be a good idea to put this in a box. In fact, I have an A4 card box. I could have used that. That would be good. So now I'm going to mix some more water. So what that's going to do is it's going to water down the colour of the green. So I'll get a slightly different colour. And also with Jamie's Enchanted Sprinkles, be aware that when you dry them, they do go paler. So although this is looking quite bright at the moment, when I start to dry it, the colour is going to change. I just really want a little bit more on that one. Right, let's see how we do with that. So I'm going to bring my heat tool in and just start to dry that off. And you can definitely see it changing. Right, let's see if I can be careful and take this away. Got some lines, not, I might have to clean that next time. Not a huge, I don't know actually. I think I've got a few splodges off the stencil as well, but let's try it and see. So they definitely change as you dry them. I didn't want to add too much heat over the top of my stencil because I didn't want it to affect my stencil, obviously. But just that initial bit of heat just to start the drying process. I do need another brush to keep it dry, you're right, Philippa. I should treat myself to another. Jenny sent me this one and it is a lovely splatter brush, this one. The ones that I bought from, I can never remember how you say the name, Sostering Green or whatever it's called. I could use one of those actually because that's quite a nice dry one. Okay, so let's wipe my stencil a little bit actually. I'm going to get this all over my board, but it doesn't matter because I can clean it all off. That's the whole point of it. Right, that will be better. Let's just wipe the back and then wipe anything off of here. Okay, that looks better. Right, so if we bring it in again, and again we'll put our stencil on the edge, so we've got the white edges. It doesn't matter if it's not straight on my board because my stencil is on my is straight on my piece of card because I've got the edges of the piece of card. So don't worry about everything else being straight. Now, I need to clean the green out of my brush first of all. In fact, I should have two brushes, one to do red and why don't I use my other brush? That would be so much better, wouldn't it? Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water to this brush and I'm going to pick up my red, trying not to get too much green, but I have got some, but it's a bit burgundy, but I think that'll be okay. It's going to be more of a burgundy red. And I'm just going to splat down, keep picking up because you do, it's the water that you want to get out of the brush really. Oh, I might have touched it there, never mind, we can put something over that if I did. Might need a little bit more red, so let's just put a little bit more powder down and just spritz. Right, now I might have a bit more red there. Ah, that's better. Right, and we've got two colours, so that's nice. and we just splat away. I mean, you could add a bit of yellow if you wanted to, because the yellow looks... Should we do that? Shall I add a bit of yellow? So we've got a bit of gold as well. Let's do that. Right. So the red is probably better to use for yellow. So let's just clean that out. What a mucky pup. So it's not easy to be clean and tidy with these. Right, so we'll have a bit of yellow. Do need a nice clean bit of matte now. Let's get rid of all that. But make sure you don't end up with any powder on your mat, because once you start adding the water to it, you'll find you've got some blue still left on there. Okay, so a bit of yellow and a bit of water. Mix that up. I need a bit more. Right, and then we can just do a few gold splats as well. And then if you want to go back in and put your yellow on the stripes the other way, we can do that as well at the end. So let's wipe everything down. Just move me magnets. Be careful that you don't touch anything on your card when you're cleaning it with your cloth, because you'll smudge whatever's still wet on your card. So I'm going to lift this off. I will go back the other way. Right, let's pick this up. I'm losing my stripes a little bit, so we'll bring them back. If you find that it's not working, I didn't know if it would work or it wouldn't work, there's no reason why we couldn't put the stencil back on and spritz through it. So with the sprays that I made the other day, we could spray some of that colour through it if we didn't like what we got, so we didn't have to waste it. But I actually think if we do the stripes the other way, and the other thing you could do as well is you could define the stripes with some pen. And if you're not confident doing that, you could put the stencil back over and use the stencil to draw your lines. So it's much more, you can see the definite stripes going down that way. Beautiful. So let's put it back on. Let's clean the stencil first. And let's do a bit more red and orange, I think, so that we define those stripes a bit better going the other way. Make sure we've got all that off. There we go. Make sure there's nothing on our board. Bring our piece back in, and we want to go that way this time, don't we? So I want to make sure I've got it the same way, which I think I have. So we'll have one up there, one there, one there, one there, and we can use this along the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to do yellow first because I've got that on my mat. Might need a bit more yellow and a bit more water. A little bit more powder. A bit more water, and then mix all that new powder. That's better. I mean, you are using so little, but I'm maybe not being generous enough. Being tight with my with my products. Okay, so just make sure you get nice coverage in all those stripes. We need some up the top there. If you find that it's not splatting as nicely as you would like, you can help the situation by doing it over, splatting against something like a pokey tool. Okay, so let's wipe this up, and now we'll have some red. I will just clean this a little bit, but I'm not going to worry too much because red and yellow will make orange, so it'll be a nice, won't matter if it's slightly orangey. Right, let's bring the red in, a little bit of red. I've got lovely hands. Mix that up, so we've got some red. Right, I think this is going to be better now, because I think by adding more splats, we've defined those stripes a lot more. Let's add one more bit of water. Don't mind if they're slightly paler in colour, just want a nice lot of them. Let's do it with my desk and everything is looking very pretty. Yeah, so I actually have a box of A4 card, like a lid, and I should have done it in there. Okay, so it's just this little bit down here. There we go. Okay. So let's wipe my ruler first of all, making sure I don't touch anything on my card and my magnets. And then after this, I'll give everything a good wash, like downstairs. Let's move my stencil. Oh, that looks better now. It doesn't look as good the other way. We could be here forever. Oh, I might have to do that though. I might just have to turn that round. I haven't dried anything yet either, have I? So I'm getting carried away. Let's just do a few more red splats. It's just the more I see it, it's just, honestly, I can't wait to hold this up and show you in a second. Right, let's just do, just a bit concerned that it might be a bit raised, the stencil might be a bit raised up. Not laying nice and flat. Let's do this. Oh, it's so pretty. I don't mind what it looks like. Oh, right, let's pop that down there. Let's bring my heat tool in. This is only something extra to show you anyway, so yeah, Amazon box is perfect actually. Yeah. You just want something that's quite low, so it's not got too high sides. Oh, I mean, just look at that. How pretty are they? All that lovely mica still in there. That's what, it just blows me away. All this lovely shimmer that I hope the camera is picking up for you. Let's bring the light. Oh, there you go. I think you can see it like that. Just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I mean, very different, but using the same stencil. And if you wanted to define the lines, I'm going to do that this time because I didn't do it on the other one. So just to give you a different look and just to see what adding some lines can do. Just wipe this very quickly. Don't want to ruin this because I love this mat. It is so useful. Right, let's put my dirty stencil on there. That could be my washing up. I've got really sparkly, lovely mica fingers. I'll clean my brushes as well properly, which would make a nice change. A bit of water on there. Right, so normally what I would say is don't try stamping and decorating too much when you've got something that's not long been done. But I want to show you what I meant by adding some lines. Now I haven't got another one if I do it on here, have I? Look, I've got a lovely splattered card. Never mind. Okay, so for the tree and the sentiment, I literally just used the individual colours, but did lots of splats on them so you get this lovely little spotting on there. So I am going to do this with the lines, and I'm just going to take a black pen, I think. So just a fine, this is a 0.2. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to do my wobbly Julie lines just to sort of accentuate the plaid, if you like, or the stripes. And I'm coming inside of the colour, so the colour is going past my line. So I'm not trying to be too straight, and the fact that I love wobbly lines anyway. But if you don't want to do this bit, don't. Or you could do the, oh, that's what I should have done. Should have done it with a gold pen, shouldn't I? And it could just have been a bit more sparkle then. Never mind, I've done black now. I could do double lines, which is, as you know, I love double lines. I could add a gold line in amongst the black as well. Whoa, that one went really wobbly. But I like it, but it's entirely up to you whether you do it or you don't do it. Or shall we add, oh, I've got all splats on my card. Oh, that's annoying. Never mind. Right, so just a gold. So a gold pen, always before you go to your card, just check that it's, because it's not running. Let's get another one. Right, let's get a jelly roll one. Right. And look at the difference in the golds as well. So I could add a gold line, maybe just on one side of the plaid lines. So it's like a gold thread running through it. So I'm using my black line as a guide, trying to be a little bit away from it. And then we'll do the gold line on this one. Rather liking this. I could have gone over the black with, well, I don't know if it would have covered it. It should do because it's pretty opaque, the gold pen. But I do quite like it. Just on one edge, just adding that gold pen to it. Let's have a look. Just waiting for it to catch up, sorry. It's so far behind, it's really weird. Yeah, so you can see the gold on there. Okay, so let's die cut it now so that we've got our shape. So bear with me. does just give a nice edge and finish to the card. I think I'm going to have my red at the bottom. There we go. Right. So with my tree, and because I've added a bit of gold on here, I'm going to add a little bit of gold on my leaves that decorate my tree. Maybe there's some dots in the pattern as well, so maybe I could just put a few gold dots just so that it's following that theme through. So where we've got the gold lines, we've now got a little bit of gold on our tree as well, just to tie it in. Okay, so now we have to decide whether this stands out on... Actually, I'll tell you what else we could maybe do. We could maybe layer this onto black and cut a black edge around it. Let's have a look what that would look like. And then we can decide whether we want to put a little black border around it. I'm literally just holding it in place and just cutting a little bit bigger than my tree shape is. Let's bring it back. You could always glue it down and then cut round it. Ooh. I was just going to hold it in place, or try. Just trying to see if we can do something different than adding the vellum, but want a little bit of something like a shadow around it, just to make it pop off the card a little bit more, or whether we do in fact go with a piece of vellum. Well, it does make it stand off the card a bit more. So maybe rather than... I know what I'll do. Okay, so I will use vellum, but I'm going to use it just for my sentiment and not for the tree as well. So the tree I will mount that onto the black, just so we've got something different as well, and then you can decide which you prefer. Because I want to show you how I did the vellum with my gold pen, because I rather liked that. So, and I could have done the gold on the plaid with my thicker gold pen, so it showed up a bit more if I wanted to. Maybe I should do that. And I'm just going to put a little bit of gold on my bucket. There, so it all ties in now. So that does pop off my card. So I need a piece of vellum. So I've got a piece here, and I'm going to tear upwards, which opens the core of the vellum, so you get that white line. Try and make it a little bit wobbly. Don't want it too straight. And then we can put our sentiment on here. So if I just fold part of it back, so I've got a straight edge, then the straight edge can wrap around the back and just know where I'm going to put it. So not stick anything down yet. And then I'm going to open this out, and with my gold pen, all I did, and I didn't want to get gold pen all over my board, so if you put a piece of card down behind it and then just run the nib of your pen along the edge of the torn vellum. I did go past it a little bit as well, just so it folded round to the back. Then you end up with this really nice bit of gold along the edge of your vellum, which just lifts it off of your card. Might be better against black. There you go. And how lovely does that look? Just gives it, just lifts it again, really. Let's do the other side. Make sure you don't go over the top of the gold that you've already done in case it's not dry. Your previous line, if you put your vellum down over the top of that, it could pick it up if it isn't completely dry. So just use a different part of your piece of card. And again, we've got that lovely bit of gold along the top. Just those little things that can make such a huge difference. Okay, you know what I could do, what Philippa taught me? Oh, let's do that as well. Okay, let's move my tree out of the way and anything else, because I'm good at splatting, aren't I? But I'm going to just... Right, you need to make sure it's pumped so that you've got a nice lot of ink in the nib, I found. And then whack it. I've got a lovely board now as well. And then let's just wipe this a minute, get that off. Right, if it doesn't come off straight away, all you need is a little bit of water or a bit of hand sanitizer. That's how I clean my glass mat now. It's a bit of hand sanitizer, and it gets all the glue bits off and everything. It's really good. Okay, so if I bring this back in, and you can see all those little splats, and they are so little, but they're so beautiful with Jamie's powders. So absolutely, let me just make sure that you can see them. So you've just got those little splats of gold on there as well, which is just lovely. Now you need to make sure that they're dry, because you don't want to rub your fingers over it like I would so easily do. So let's just give it a blast. The last thing I want to do now is spoil it, because it's looking lovely. Right, now it's up to you whether you want to put the red strip at the top of your card and then your tree. Let's put all these bits, let's put this bit on first. So I put a little bit of glue behind one edge. Now I know that I'm going to put my tree here, and that I'm going to do a banner sentiment like on here across there. So I can put a little bit of glue. I just use a little bit of this. I can put a bit of glue on my card and stick my vellum down, and I don't need to worry if that glue shows, because I'm going to put my sentiment down over the top. Then I don't need all that round the back, so we tear a little bit off. Add some glue and just firm that down on the back. Very messy, but never mind. Let's have a nice piece of cardboard. I'll take my pencil and I'm just going to mark one notch in of my scallops, and I just cut it down ever so slightly. So it'll just be behind my scallops. Chop that down, and then this one, keep those two bits because they're great for sentiments. They go in my little handy one. And then just check before we glue it on, that's perfect. Now I might need to get a clean card out because I've splattered on it. Firm this down on the back, making sure it's got a nice even border all the way around the edge, and firm that down. And this is what I do, and I put this underneath my my die cutting machine. It wasn't a Posca pen this time. This is a 4 artist marker, but I do have Posca gold pens somewhere. I think I must have had a couple that were, so Posca do gold, and I do have gold Posca pens like that, and they do splat beautifully. So just a gold metallic pen, anything. Oh, thank you, Jenny. Oh, goodness. 60-minute queue. Good grief. Right, so let's put my tree on as well, so I know where that's going to go. And I won't add any more dimension. So I'm going to get it straightish against my lines as well. Let's bring my splattered card in, but let's see. If I put that on, am I going to cover up? I'm going to cover up the splats. I'm going to use it. If there's a stray splat, I'm sure someone will forgive me. Excuse me. I'm going to cover most of my splats up. Okay, so this is when I would put this underneath my die cutting machine, just so it flattens it really nicely, gives that glue a chance just to go off. Right, so then in my stamping press, this is what I love about, another thing I love about Jamie's Enchanted Sprinkles, is the fact that this piece is lovely and dry. I did it quite a while ago, so it means I can get my sentiments, and I think I'm going to do Peace and Joy this time. And even though this is onto the Enchanted Sprinkles, lots of metallics do not stamp nicely. So once you've got metallic ink on there and you try stamping in black, it's affected by the metallic, like by the mica. But these I found stamp absolutely beautifully. I mean, I was so pleased with how this one stamped out, the Season's Greetings, but you've got the red in the letters and you've obviously got the red around the border as well. So let's just pop this out. Might need to stamp it twice. Nope. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If the reason I'm doing it in the stamping press, then obviously if you do want to do it twice, if your ink pad's not very good or you've not pushed down in the right places properly, it does mean that you've got another go. But that has stamped beautifully. So let's get rid of that. Bring the guillotine back in, and I like to trim this quite close. So I know with my guillotine I can, sorry, I don't think I'm in the picture, I know with my guillotine, if I line the tops of the letters up with the plastic guide, then when I cut that, I've still got a nice red border, but it gives me something to line it up against and makes it easier to keep it straight. So then I do the same with the other letters, line those all up, bring the guillotine in, and you can see where it's going to cut. So before you actually go down, just make sure you have got it quite nice and even. If not, you can adjust it. And then I'm just going to cut in on either side into the V. And then what I can do is pop this down on my card. Now, if I decide, oh, I'd really like to cut that off a little bit. So I'm actually going to, let's do it with a pencil. I am going to cut this with a straight edge I'm going to try and tuck it underneath my tree a little bit. So I've got 2 pencil marks, straight down with my scissors. Let's put some glue on the back of here. And I could edge this with black as well if I wanted to, so it matched in with the tree. But I like that red edge to it, so I'm quite happy about this. Now I can either lean it up against the tree or I could try and tuck it under, but it's actually gone against the tree beautifully. There we go. And then I had fished out some glosses, and I fished out some red and some gold glitter, but I think I'm going to go with the gold glitter because we've got those bits of gold already on our card. So I think I have one down here. And then I just put little ones beside them. So there we go. Using Jamie's Enchanted Sprinkles, the Christmas red and Christmas green, using my Christmas postage with my tree and my Christmas banners for the sentiments. Adding the lines to the plaid, which I really do like actually. And I love, like, you don't have to have a big piece of vellum if you don't want to. I wanted to be able to see more of the plaid because I think it's so pretty. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me just flip the camera. I do like to say goodbye. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I would love to see if you have a go, and make sure you share your makes on Crafty Friends of Julie Hickey Designs. And also, if you do them, I don't know if you can put a hashtag for Jamie Rodgers Crafts on it, but I'd like Jamie to see them. I know that he has shared it on his page as well, so that's really kind of him. And I will now download this onto YouTube, and it'll be up there for you to have another watch. So thank you so much for joining me. I really enjoyed your company, and I will see my calendar people tomorrow. It's lots of lives. It's lovely. Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I hope you get to be crafty. Take care. Bye.